We're excited to have Lise Børresen, Head of Responsible Investments in DNB Asset Management. We will discuss how DNB Asset Management works as a responsible investor, and we'll also share a few insights on sustainability trends in the market. Lise, first, a bit about yourself, and also what are your own interests working in this field?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me. And I know it's a cliche to say that sustainability is about the future of future generations, but it really is true. And it's also true about my own generation. I don't want to live in a world where people suffer under extreme weather conditions or where we don't have snow on Christmas Eve. And it's also about what is ethically right. We got the human rights in 1948. It's by time we adhere to them. And I've also always been interested in investments. And I firmly believe that sustainability risks might have a financial impact. And this is equally true for the sustainability opportunity side. Take Tomra, for example. They produce machines for recycling. And this is a company that will benefit from increased rules and regulations within the circular economy.
2024 has been a year with lots of economic uncertainty and many elections in various geographies. But it also has been a year where the sustainability regulation had a lot of advancements. We are strong believers that financial industry has an important role to play. So if you reflect on the year and what progress has been made by this industry.
Yeah. No, I definitely think we can say we have made some progress. We increased investments into renewable energies. We increased the size of the loss and damages fund. We made some advancements within digital inclusion, but we still have some way to go. And I think the financial market play a crucial role in this transition, both when it comes to the green transition, but also when it comes to the social transition. And one example is, for example, providing sustainable products or investing into sustainable projects. You have the companies, they care about creating that shareholder value. And we as investors, if we only care about the short-term gains and not creating that long-term value, the companies will just continue to do stuff wrong, so to speak.
Anything to add from your perspective, Jonathan?
Yes, indeed. 2024, interesting year from a sustainability perspective. While we see continuous interest from the financial industry to progress on the sustainability targets and to work on this agenda, we also get more and more signals that this is more than a disclosure exercise and it takes real efforts to get there. So for instance, with the CSRD coming around the corner, we see already a lot of efforts into this area. And also, a continuous commitment to sustainability.
And if we zoom in on the DNB Asset Management, what were your biggest achievements in 2024?
I think I want to highlight maybe two things. First, we did publish a new expectation document on health and sustainable food systems. So we have been working together with companies, NGOs and experts within this topic, and then gathered all those views to create kind of what we consider to be best practice statements. And we use that quite actively when we engage with companies, for example. The other point I want to highlight is that this year, DNB Asset Management also set biodiversity targets. So last year, DNB published a transition plan, and this year we published our biodiversity targets to go together with the climate targets we already have.
I think community agrees indeed that with biodiversity, nature, we are a little bit behind compared to climate change, climate targets. And it needs both, right? It needs, on the one side, the financial institutions who have high ambition and actions in the plan, but also a regulator who is pushing for it and giving some rules and guidance on this, like we have seen, for instance, with a Nature Risk Committee chaired by Axel.
If we take the forward-looking perspective, this year CSRD becomes fully applicable, like you mentioned. It is also a checkpoint for assessing where we are on the Paris Agreement and achieving the climate goals. But there's also rising geopolitical tensions and as well economic uncertainty. How do you foresee this year, and what are your biggest hopes and fears?
What I'm mostly worried about, I would say, is the climate. Like you said, we're approaching a point where we're going to tally how we're doing on the Paris Agreement, and we're not really making those goals. We have a lot of commitments, we've set targets, but we haven't really aligned the policies with those commitments yet. Also, the link to nature, like you mentioned, is very important. And I do think that all companies publishing a transition plan should also include biodiversity elements within that plan, since the topics are so closely interconnected. And looking back at 2024, it's really been an election year. Those kind of new coalition of governments across the globe, combined with that global geopolitical tension, I think will create some challenges for us in the year to come. But I remain optimistic. I feel like as we move, every COP, we move a little bit further along, and we have smart people working on new technologies and solutions. And I'm positive that we will make this change together.
And what about DNB Asset Management? What are your ambitions for this year?
Well, every year we set focus areas for our work with responsible investments. And for 2025, we're keeping the same long-term focus areas that we've had for quite some time, which is climate, biodiversity, water, and human rights. And we set very clear and specific targets within those focus areas, relating to what companies we want to engage, which sectors we want to focus on, or investor collaborations we want to put more efforts into. So we will definitely keep pushing companies in the right direction and trying to create that real world outcomes. Okay,
we have to execute here. I think this is what I'm expecting the next months. Like, communication is one thing, execution is the second one. So we want to see, do we achieve what we have in our plans for 2025, 2030 and beyond? And we are all together, like you say, Goda, in one boat. So the financial institutions, the large corporates, society, regulators, but also the auditors and the advisors, we have to work together and to help that the financial sector in general can leverage and change society for better.
Thanks, Lise and Jonathan, for your valuable insights on these topics. It is clear that sustainability is not just a compliance check-in-the-box exercise. If we want to make the real impact, we have to do that through collaborative efforts. It has been really inspiring to see how DNB Asset Management has been working with topics and driving change in climate, biodiversity, and human rights. And I look forward to the continuous collaboration together.